The end of August sees the release of the remake of the cult horror film Candyman, which was filmed in Chicago. To mark this release, film critics Chuck and Pam are here to discuss films they witnessed being filmed in the Windy City and mention locations that you can visit where they were made. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
Thanks. Okay, so these are all Chicago-based movies.
Right.
So we're going to kind of do a little series. So we're going to do two today.
Right.
So first up, About Last Night.
Right, About Last Night brings me back to my college days. Yes,
That's
I
a
am
long
dating
time
myself with that
Wow.
one, but that's
Wow.
okay. It's actually based on a David Mamet play, and you see there Kelly's Pub, I believe that is, which is one of my old haunts. And one day, as my friends and I were going to Kelly's to, have some wings and some
Whatnot.
chips. Yes. We couldn't get in. Why couldn't we get in? Because they were filming a movie, and it was About Last Night. When we learned that Rob Lowe was possibly there and maybe Demi Moore, the two stars of the show, we hung out for quite some time. There you see, I believe it's Mother's, if I'm looking correctly, on Rush Street. Yes, another old haunt of mine. Yes, I did used to drink quite a bit when I was younger. About Last Night really takes advantage of those iconic places in Chicago as the two stars, Demi Moore and Rob Lowe, star as two barflies. There you see Jim Belushi, who actually steals the show in this movie. And they're just hanging out and they're hooking up, and that's all they want to do. But then they find out that maybe there's a little bit more to life, and they begin to have a relationship, much to their chagrin and their best friend's chagrin as well. This is not quite the David Mamet play from back in the day that was off-Broadway. It doesn't have that same grittiness and that same signature style that David Mamet has with his dialogue, but it still reminds you of how difficult it is to be single in the city. And I can't even imagine all of that on top of, they didn't have social media and Tinder and all those other apps that they have today.
Yes.
Fun movie and a great recollection of looking up at the L train as it goes by and thinking about what was filmed here so many years ago. And that's on Webster Street, and Mother's is, I think I said, on Rush Street.
Yep.
Do you think going there and then having them filming a movie right there at that time kind of led you to having a passion for movies and, being a film critic?
You know what? I think that that's something. I grew up in a town where there weren't many movies shown, so I think I didn't have that passion and love for it. I wanted to be an actress when I was younger, so seeing this, and then we'll talk about in the next segment another movie that I saw being filmed, and yes, I do think that did have a little bit of a... It did.
Okay. Chuck, you're up next with The Color of Money.
Color of Money, the Paul Newman, Tom Cruise film. You know what had happened was that Mayor Daley, the first Mayor Daley, didn't really want film crews in town, and then when Mayor Byrne was elected, suddenly the floodgates were open, and you're walking down the street, and all of a sudden there's a movie. And I was out on a date one Saturday night, walking down the street by O'Brien Steakhouse, look over, there's Paul Newman sitting in the window.
Wow.
But that's Chris's Billiards right there at 4637 North Milwaukee. That's where you see in the film Newman shooting pool and practicing up. And there we have Ginger Man Tavern, which is right north of Wrigley Field. That's where we see Cruise for the first time playing pool as well. You can just go right up the street. And there's O'Brien Steakhouse right there. I was in film school at the time, studying movies at Columbia, and like I say, it was just such an exciting thing. Walking around, you'd be downtown, turn a corner, and then there's all these trailers lined up along the street, and it's like, oh, something's happening. Right. Something happening here. So it was just a lot of electricity in the air. You look over, and there's Charles Grodin walking down the street when he was in town for Midnight Run. I turned a corner one day, and there was Jessica Lange. She was in town for the Music Box. So there's just so many films that were filmed up there. And, it's just a great idea for a little road trip. You go up, you get something good to eat, and have some pictures taken, look at these. I mean, they look very different when you see them in person, and it also takes you back to that film after you've watched it. So there's a lot up there, more than you expect.
Okay, but was it a memorable date?
I saw Paul Newman.
Then I count that as a win.
It's a win, exactly.
Okay. Well, Chuck and Pam have two more movies to share from on locations that they visited. I believe more in Chicago.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, to see all of Chuck and Pam's movie reviews, maybe get in on a fun giveaway, there's a look at their website where you can sign up for their newsletter, and links to their Facebook page where you can give them a like and a follow. We will have all of that information on CILiving.tv.